Welcome to the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, cause I don't know. I just do whatever I feel like doing, and hopefully it makes somebody smile. There it is, there we go. Hello friends, new and old, and welcome back once again for the first time in quite some time to the Eglowitz Variety Show. I don't even remember when the last time I uploaded to the channel was, and I don't remember what the video was that I last uploaded to the channel. But we are going to skip the explanations that I've seen many other creators offer as to their absence. We are going to forego that in favor of just getting straight back to business. And as you can tell from the title of today's video, today's business that we are going to be getting to is I went today to New York Comic Con. Today is Sunday, October 8th or 9th, whatever day Sunday is. And I went to Comic Con. It wasn't something I had planned on doing. I know a lot of people, wind up having to, Comic Con is kind of the thing you plan for in advance. But that was very much not the case with my trip to Comic Con. I kind of decided last night, I realized it was in town. I said, hey, maybe I'll go to Comic Con tomorrow. And that's exactly what I did today. I went to New York Comic Con and I got some stuff, as you do at Comic Cons and other such cons. And I'm going to show off my haul to you today. And that will be what we do in today's video. You'll have to forgive me if I'm at all out of practice with my manner of speaking to you. I haven't sat in front of the camera in quite some time to do a video, but we're going to do one today. So, I have a number of things here that we're going to go through. So, I got a shirt, I believe is in this bag. Yeah, it's a shirt. And I don't remember what the name of the business was that sold me this shirt. Here's the front of it. It says Fortune Tellers on it, I believe, or Fortune Teller. And the back of it's got a big nice design on it. There it is. And I believe the business card is in here, so I'll go in the bag and get it, because I think I remember the proprietor of the stand telling me, yep, this is from this is the business that this shirt is from. Sky Graphics. Not graphics, Sky Graphics. There, I'll let you see their email too, in case you want to send them any email messages. And you know what we're going to do is we're actually going to change into the shirt right now. I got a 4X. I prefer my clothes a little baggy lately. I think comfortably what fits me appropriately is probably an XL to a 2X, depending on the shirt. But I've come to appreciate a little bit of bagginess in my clothes lately, so I've been opting for larger sizes. So we're just going to go ahead and change into the shirt right now on camera, and we'll get the rest of the video going. Shout out to Sky Graphics. This was actually one of the last things I bought at the con. I realized that I wanted to get at least one article of clothing, so I did. And I stopped at this stand, and the people that were there were very nice to me and very kind to me. Helped me find the shirt that they had in my size. Here's what it looks like on me. Let me get the sleeves all rolled down. There it is. Here's the back of the shirt. I don't know if you can see it too good. There's the back of the shirt on me. I had to strain to get in that position just now. Hopefully that's a good enough look at the shirt. I don't think that there's anything else in this bag. I think everything else is in the other bag. Yeah, so that's it for that bag. And the rest of it, just a heads up, there's gonna be like maybe one or I got some like earrings and a keychain. But the whole rest of the haul is gonna be toys. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't watched, or if you just forgot because I haven't uploaded in so long. But I am a tremendous collector of action figures, particularly Marvel and wrestling action figures, particularly Hasbro Marvel Legends action figures are my poison of choice. Although lately, I have to say I'm quite dissatisfied with Hasbro's Just general business practices. They're the biggest toy company in the entire world. $1 billion, if not maybe even more. I don't know if a $1 trillion company is such a thing. But if it is such a thing, Hasbro probably is. And their business practices lately, the quality of their product and the amount of bang you get for your buck is decreasing drastically. The prices of your average Hasbro Marvel Legend action figure is going up. The amount of accessories and unique sculpts and paintwork that you get are going down. And overall, I think that they are testing the waters to see how much they can get away with before people will stop collecting, which, I have most of the characters I need at this point. Maybe it's just a few loose ends I might need to tie up, a very few amount of characters I might still need, but my collecting days might be coming to an end soon just by virtue of I've got so many already, and I have almost everything I need. But all that to say, just a heads up, today's video is going to be, the haul is going to be primarily action figures, and it's going to be primarily Marvel Legends action figures. Drink some water if you haven't already today. So let's just reach in the bag and see what we pull out. So a lot of these are from, or actually I think all of the toys that I bought today, except for one, are from the same vendor. I found this one vendor who was selling loose action figures, which I don't mind at all because I'm going to grab a pack of sanitary wipes to wipe down the toys as I discuss them. I don't mind loose action figures at all because I actually collect, I open them immediately, right away. I'll be sitting in the car, or on the train, or wherever I'm coming from, on the way back from the store, or the trade, or whatever the method of acquisition of the toy was. And I'll be opening it up in the car, on the train, whatever. I can't even wait to get home. So loose figures to me are even better because I wind up having to pay a little less. And as long as they are complete, as long as they come with all the accessories and all the head sculpts and all the bells and whistles that came within the package, I don't mind at all. If it's not packaged, I actually prefer it not packaged. That way it ends up not costing an arm and a leg to be involved in this hobby. So this is the first figure I pulled out of the bag here. This is Beetle. I think this is Ultimate Beetle. I think Beetle, I'm pretty sure this character's name is Abner Jenkins. I'm pretty sure he's got this wing pack that looks to attach to his back, which I'll try to do now. Abner Jenkins, who I'm pretty sure is a Spider-Man villain. He's had a bunch of different suits that he's used. And I think this is the ultimate version of the suit. Not ultimate as in the best version, but it's from the Ultimate series, I think. This is how his suit looks in the Ultimate comics, I believe. I'm not a tremendous, if at all, a comic book reader. I just like the characters and stuff. So this is his ultimate look. He's a Spider-Man villain, Abner Jenkins. I think he has a daughter, Layla. That might not be her name, but he has a daughter that becomes an incarnation of the Beetle as well, in a different suit though, I believe. But yeah, I like this a lot. I've wanted this figure for quite some time. So here he is. Here's Abner Jenkins. And you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to clear some room on my desk here. And I'm going to line up all of my new action figures and all of my items from today in general, actually. I'll line them up. And I will make a little section of them over here. And then when the video is done, when they're all open, I will show you what they all look like together. So there's Abner Jenkins, Ultimate Beetle, Marvel Legends. I forget what series this is from, but he looks very cool. I like this version of the outfit quite a bit. And let me give him a bit of a wipe down too. There's been a number of other Abner Jenkins figures that have come out. And I find myself particularly interested in that character, not because I know that much about him, because I don't. But because he's got such a wide variety of suits. He's almost got like an Iron Man type arsenal of suits. He's got a purple and green suit that I think is a bit more of his classic look. He's got a big giant purple and green suit, like a big giant mech suit Beetle, and I think he flies in that as well. That's one of the oldest action figures I have in my collection, actually, is the big giant mech beetle suit. And then there's a version of Abner Jenkins in not a beetle suit, but I think it's called a Mach 1 suit, when he joins the Thunderbolts, which is a team of supervillains that I think is they're either trying to reform and become heroes, or they try to become heroes in the public eye by staging like kind of like Mysterio in No Way Home, in Far From Home. Like, he would stage things and then save the day, or like Syndrome in The Incredibles. But then I think they actually kind of like being heroes. I don't know exactly what the story is. But yeah, I have that action figure actually right up there. He's got a whole bunch of different suits, and I just think it's cool, how much the character seems to change over time, and I'd like to read a little bit more about him, or read some stuff he's in, or maybe, see him in a cartoon or a movie someday soon. So yeah, there's Ultimate Beetle, Abner Jenkins, looking pretty good. Let's just reach in the bag and see who we get next. Very cool. Very cool. I'll just take her out and I'll show you. Yeah, like I said, a lot of these action figures that I purchased today were from the same vendor. They had bins full of loose action figures, Marvel Legends, all in their own little individual Ziploc bags. And the prices were very fair. And I'm not saying that I'm thrilled to have spent as much money as I did on toys, but the prices that this particular vendor was charging, they were just very reasonable. A lot of times, especially at conventions like this was, they charge an arm and a leg and they just price gouge these things, but that was not the case with this particular vendor. Wow, I've wanted this action figure for a very, very long time, and it is classic Spider-Woman. I'm pretty sure this is the Jessica Drew Spider-Woman as opposed to the this is the Jessica Drew Spider-Woman as opposed to the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman, who I had at one point, that action figure, but I think I sold it. Just because I think if I'm trying to limit how many characters I have in my collection, and Spider-Woman's not a character that I'm particularly passionate or knowledgeable about. And I wanted to, limit how many Spider-Women I had. And I figure if I'm going to have one or the other, and they look so similar, and this one's so much more dynamic and colorful, and the other one is just kind of a black and white suit, that if I'm only going to have one of them, this is going to be the one that I have. Get her cleaned up a little bit. I don't know, like I said, I don't know a ton about this character, but I remember her from, a number of cartoons and games and stuff, and I remember enjoying her and liking her powers, especially that she wasn't just kind of a direct clone of Spider-Man, as you might expect. Not clone in the sense of, not a scientific clone, but like a clone in terms of, they didn't just gender swap the character and say, oh, Spider-Woman, It was a whole new character with new powers and a different backstory and stuff, which I think is really cool. Yeah, so there she is. Jessica Drew Spider-Man in her classic freaking suit. I've wanted this figure for quite some time. I'm not sure if she's supposed to come with extra hands or not, but this is the hands that we got, and that's okay. And she comes with web wings as well that attach to her arms, it looks like. Looks like this one goes on this arm. Let me get her arms outstretched a little more, maybe. But yeah, this is a character I'm super excited to have. I got a spot for her on the shelf already. I know exactly where she's going to go. Does that look right? No, it's got to be this way, because you want the wings fanning out. But then there's not room for it, so maybe it goes on this side? Yeah, there we go. There it is. I think. Does that look right? Hold on a minute. Does that look better? Maybe? I don't know. Let me try. Let me do it off camera here. Or out of focus, rather, and see if I could figure it out. I'm really not sure. They're not fitting in there as snugly as I'd like them to. There we go. No, that doesn't look right either. That doesn't look right at all, actually. So is it this way, maybe? That looks right. This looks the most right, but there's not room for it, unless you have the arms go, unless you have the web wings, rather, go behind her back a little bit. We're gonna figure this out together. Yeah, that looks like it's how it's supposed to go. But maybe if you put her arms up like this, there's a little more room. Maybe. So my thought was maybe if you put her arm up, you know, that looks like exactly how it's supposed to go. But then that requires the arm to be turned this way, and I guess you turn the forearm a different way to make the hand still, I don't know, I might have to save this for later because I don't want to spend a ton of time in the video harping on the nitty-gritty of how to get her web wings in here. That looks about right. Right? Yeah, and then if you get the other, well, you know what, we're going to toy with that a little bit later. We're going to set it to the side for now. We're going to put Spider-Woman next to Beetle over here. I don't necessarily have any desire to become a full-fledged action figure channel on here, but I am kind of realizing that a lot of the content I will make, however infrequent or frequent it is, a lot of it probably will be action figure based. You know, it's one of the hobbies that I have that I'm most passionate about, I've been doing for the longest. And the reason I thought of this was because I was thinking of the way that I'm setting them up off screen right now. And there's a channel, if you're into action figures, you got to check this guy out. He's a relatively small channel. Some people have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't think he has even 100,000 yet, but he is very, very good displaying model behavior. And I think the guy's name is Dave. So what he does, or if this was a displaying model behavior video, he'd be talking to you while he sets up the thing I'm setting up, but he'd have a second camera showing you how he was getting them going on the display. And maybe we'll get to that someday, and maybe we won't. Either way is fun. Oh, big boy. We got Ironmonger. I think this was one of the older Build-A-Figures, or it's not new. I don't think it's old per se. Relatively, and there's 10, 15, almost 20-year-old Build-A-Figures. But I think this guy, for the Hasbro era at least, he's one of the older Build-A-Figures. And I don't really have a ton of Iron Man villains, so I wanted him, and he just looks glorious. Look at him. Incredible. Incredible. Ironmonger, in case you forgot, because there's about 600,000 characters in the Marvel film universe now, whatever it's called. Ironmonger is Jeff Bridges' his character from the first Iron Man movie. Tony Stark built this with a box of scraps in a cave, or whatever the line is that he says, and this is the more comic accurate look of the figure. It's a bit strange, and I haven't quite figured out why yet, but I don't really read, as I've mentioned, a ton of comics, if any. It's pretty rare, actually, that I do. But in my action figure collecting, I much prefer the comic book looks of the characters rather than their movie counterparts. You'd think I want the movie ones, because that's, I pay attention to the cinematic stuff, and I'm pretty familiar with it. So you'd think that'd be the versions of the characters that I want. But, like, for example, Ironmonger, I look at the movie version of this figure, the figure that's accurate to how he looks in the film, and it just doesn't appeal to me at all. But I think the comic book figures are just so much more colorful and vibrant and eye-catching. The Ironmonger movie figure is just like a big hunk of, like, gray plastic, basically. And this one is a big hunk of blue plastic, to be fair, but I don't know, it's shiny. It's got the little bursts of color in the face and on the chest plate, and it just catches the light. It's got the little wiry things running. I don't know. I don't quite know why I prefer the comic looks of these characters when I don't even read them. But I do. What can I say? So I got a couple Iron Man villains. Well, Beetle's not an Iron Man villain, but I kind of lump him in with them sometimes. I think he'd be a better Iron Man villain than a Spider-Man villain. Again, I haven't read any of the books or anything, but just from my thinking, he's a guy with all these suits of armor and stuff, and it just seems like him and Iron Man would be natural enemies. And maybe they have fought a couple times, I don't know. We're going to reach into the bag and see what we get next. Might not even be an action figure. There's a couple things in here that are not action figures. But we got an action figure. And when I say that this is a character that I have wanted to have on my shelf for a long time, believe me, this is a character I have wanted on my shelf for a long time. And I'm going to make it a little dramatic. I'm going to take a sip of water before I show him to you. I almost wish I had a little sound effects machine so I could get a drum roll going, but we're not going to do that. You know what I will do, though, is I'll make some trumpet music. I'm taking him out of the bag now. Oh my God. He's amazing. He's every bit as beautiful as I'd pictured it in my head. Oh my God. He's incredible. And maybe you saw it already. I don't know. I wasn't looking at the camera. Maybe he slipped into frame. But assuming he didn't. That's the X-Men music. What's the Daredevil music? Fucking excuse my language. Daredevil, baby. Wow. I actually do also own the highly sought after Netflix movie version of this character. That's one of the few, cinematic film TV based figures that I did want, in addition to the comic book look. But if you are unfamiliar with, if you're not an action figure collector, if you're not knowledgeable about action figures and the community and aftermarket surrounding action figures and this particular hobby, let me tell you, this is an action figure that is hard to come by, and when you do come by him, he's gonna run you a significant amount of money. But like I said, all these vendors, or not all these vendors, all these figures are from the same vendor, with the exception of one, which I'll tell you when I get to, and they were all very fairly priced. Again, wasn't getting a runaway deal or anything. It was just like very fair prices, which is rare considering, the location, a comic book convention where I purchased them. We cleaned this guy up a little bit. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're not particularly delved into the action figure collecting community, there are a small number of comic book Daredevil figures that hold up in a collection, and there are even fewer of his classic all red suit like this. There are a couple. There's one in his yellow and red comic book suit, which is his first appearance. There's one in a black and red suit. There's one in a suit of armor that I guess he wore at some point that I'm not familiar with. But as far as this, the classic red, this is what you think of when you think of Daredevil type of look, there are only two recent figures. And even then, recent is a bit of a stretch because they came out, there was one in a box set that I think was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive within 10 years ago. I don't remember when exactly, maybe 2016 or 17. And then there was a single issue release of this character in a regular wave, but it's only two for a very classic character. You think of Wolverine, and Wolverine, it's every 2 months he's got a new figure out. Same thing for Iron Man, Spider-Man. But for as popular a character as Daredevil is, his action figures, especially in, like I said, his classic look, have been few and far between. And this is one of them. And I was so thrilled to find this guy in that bin. I can't even tell you. I'm not looking at the camera because I'm doing selfie style recording, so I'm looking at him on the screen, and my God, he's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm not 100% sure if this is the box set version, or if this is, and he's got his little batons too, if it's a box set version or if it is the single release version, which I think was from the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave. But whatever it is, my God, I am just happy to have this guy, and I'm wondering if maybe his batons are supposed to go higher on his leg because they're right around his knee now. And I think they should be higher than that. It would just, let me not even say it. I'll say it after I put the figure down so I don't jinx it. But it doesn't look like it's going any higher. I'm just going to leave it there, let it be, not a big deal, whatever. But my God, this thing is just gorgeous. There is a new Daredevil coming out soon. Actually, it was just announced a couple days ago. He's going to be part of a 3-pack. It's going to be Daredevil in his classic red costume with a new body mold, because this is a rather outdated body mold. With a new body mold, he's going to come with Bullseye and Elektra. But in my opinion, the Bullseye and Elektra are not particularly desirable because they're not in their classic looks, which is what I like the classic kind of regular default look. And also, I already have both of them in their classic looks, so I'm not particularly, it's not a big deal to me that I have Daredevil on this new body mold. So much so as that I'm going to wait for that one. And I got to put him next to Spidey. I just got to see what they look like together. My God, this is freaking cool. I'm going to turn it toward me for a second just to see. So Spidey is a little taller, which I'm not a big fan of. I would like Daredevil to be a little taller, but they're not going to probably be directly next to each other. And I have a couple other Spider-Mans that are shorter I could use too. My God, though, when I say that this Daredevil is a grail for me to have in my collection, this is a grail with a capital G, R-A-I, and L to have in my collection. Look at this thing. As a very wise one man once said, I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. I'm very happy to have this action figure, and I'm going to put him with Spider-Woman, Beetle, and Ironmonger over here. Very cool. Very cool. And actually, I have, with the acquisition of this Daredevil, I have almost all 4 characters from that Defenders box set he was a part of. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is the Daredevil from that particular box set or if it's the single issue Daredevil, but I also have Luke Cage. I'm not sure if it's a Luke Cage from that box set or a different box set, but I've got Luke Cage. I've got Jessica Jones, Jewel. I have her in her Jewel costume, so I just need an Iron Fist now. We're reaching into the bag and we're seeing what else we got. Okay. So this isn't one I'm super excited about, to be honest, but it was there and it was fairly priced, and I've had, a curiosity about picking this figure up for a while, so I did. And you know what? Now that it's out of the bag, it's not looking half bad at all, actually. It's looking a lot better than I expected it to. Yeah, Iron Patriot. I dropped him on my guitar. But Iron Patriot, there he is. I'm going to get a sanitizing wipe out and get him going. Again, I've never read these comic books, so the information that I'm giving you is based on YouTube videos I've watched, Wikipedia articles, just general kind of knowledge and things I've heard. But Iron Patriot, if you don't know, is, you might like me, you might think it's an Iron Man suit, a variant of an Iron Man suit, like many armored characters, action figures are, but Iron Patriot is actually Norman Osborn. So I forget I think the storyline is called Dark Avengers, but there's a certain point where Norman Osborn wants, I think what it is, it's kind of similar to Thunderbolts maybe, but basically his desire is to get a bunch of super villains together, dress them up like superheroes with new identities and stuff, and just have like a team that is heroes, but they're really villains. And I think Norman Osborn becomes the mayor or the president or something. I don't know exactly. But basically Dark Avengers, and it's a bunch of evil variants of Avenger characters. So you have Iron Patriot, who is, obviously a play on Iron Man. They get Bullseye, the Daredevil villain. They get Bullseye to join the team, and they dress him up like Hawkeye, and they have very similar powers. So Bullseye poses as Hawkeye. They get Wolverine's son, Daken, I believe his name is, who looks very much like Wolverine, except he's got bone claws, and his middle claws in his wrist, and he's got all tattoos and stuff. They get Wolverine's son, and they put him in a Wolverine suit. Who else is in Dark Avengers? Iron Patriot. I don't remember anyone else off the top of my head. I might have some of them lying around somewhere, but that's the basic premise of it. I think Ares is in it, the god of war, as like a counterpart for Thor. But yeah, this figure, it's a little bit old. So I'm imagining it might not hold up quite that well with some newer figures, but it's just, there hasn't been any other updates to this character since here. And I don't think it looks half bad, like, at all, actually. Now that I'm looking at it, like, I wasn't super excited about it or anything, but now that I have it in my hands, like, it isn't a bad figure at all. And I'm gonna grab a random figure from my shelf here just to compare him to. You know what, why not Spider-Man? Spider-Man's right here. Just see what he looks like next to a newer Spider-Man figure. And Spider-Man is significantly taller, which I don't particularly like I said. But if I put this guy in a Dark Avengers display on my shelf, maybe I put him in a flying pose and have him flying above the rest of the team, so you can't see that he's maybe a little bit smaller by comparison to everyone else. Like, that's not half bad. This, I'm pretty happy with this, actually. Iron Patriot, pretty cool. Where's my Green Goblin? I got a Green Goblin somewhere. which would be interesting to compare him to because it's the same man, but I can't find him. No big deal. I'm gonna put him with the rest of the fellas over here and lady in Spider-Woman, and we're going back in the bag. Let's see what we got next. I feel so. Oh, okay. So not an action figure for a change, but I got some earrings, a whole bag of them. And we're gonna empty them out, and we're gonna take a look at them. So I got Rick and Morty earrings, and I got 3 pairs of earrings for friends. And then I think I got 3 for friends and 3 for me. So this is Rick and Morty. This is a set of earrings that I'm going to be giving to a friend. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to try to find the matching sets here. Yeah, this is one of mine. This is for me. It's Winnie the Pooh and honey. A pot of honey, or a bowl, a barrel, I think pot, a honey pot, yeah. Winnie the Pooh and honey, which are mine. Those don't match. Oh no, these 2 match. Steven Universe set of earrings. These are for another friend. See what else we got. Where's the matching one for this? Here it is. Ghostface from the Scream franchise earrings for another friend. And so all the rest are for me. We got a set of, oopsie. We got a Tails set of earrings. I love Tails. Tails is one of my favorite fictional characters. There we go. And last but certainly not least, we have Amy from Sonic earrings also. Very, very cool. And I actually have an Amy shirt as well. And I think the Amy shirt with the Amy earrings is going to be a hell of an outfit, if you ask me. Or a hell of an upper half of an outfit, at least. And I'm going to go ahead and put the Winnie the Pooh ones on right now, just to see how they look, and just to see what we're working with here. It goes in nice and smooth, hangs off the ear, too. Very cool. Get the back on. There we go. There's Winnie the Pooh, and we're going to get the honey pot on the other ear. It's a little more awkward to do it this way because the desk is, there we go. Okay, I don't particularly love that Winnie is dangling and the honey is not dangling. I'd like to have them, if one of them is going to be hanging off the ear, I'd like them both to be hanging off the ear, but I guess it's really not the biggest deal at all. And there it is, and there I am with my new Winnie the Pooh and honey pot earrings. I'll put those off to the side. Or actually, I'm going to put them back in the bag for now, and then I will put them with the rest of my earrings off camera later. Reach back in the bag. Okay, so this bag is empty, it seems, but there should be something else. So that's all the toy. I thought I got more action figures, but I guess not. Was that it? That can't be right. Wait a minute. I'm doing some math in my head. Hold on. There's 5 action figures. Oh, something's not right here. Something is wrong. And I also think I bought something else from the earring. No, I didn't. I almost bought a keychain, but I did not buy a keychain. I thought I got more figures than this. I thought I got something else. Hold on a second. I gotta do some math. Or wait, no, I have the bags here with the prices on them. Because I remember how much cash I handed the guy. And it... Okay. So that... Okay, hold on a minute. Bear with me give me 25 seconds. We'll be right back. We're having some technical difficulties here. Oh, okay, no, we're all good. We're all set. So I guess that's it, actually. I didn't think the video, I thought, I was expecting, there's one more toy, actually, that I bought. And I forgot about him. He was in a different pocket in my backpack. But I got Nash Carter. It's a WWE Elite wrestling figure. I also collect wrestling figures in addition to collecting Marvel Legends action figures. And those are basically the only two action figure lines that I collect. But yeah, I got Nash Carter. This guy is from the newest, or one of the newest WWE Elite series. And I think that, I think he's problematic. And I forget what he did, but I think he did something, like, bad. Like, he didn't, like, it wasn't like shoplifting or something. It was like one of those serious things. And I forget what. And I'm pretty sure he's semi-canceled for it. But I got his action figure anyway. And I wanted to get his tag team partner as well, Wesley, because these guys come in a tag team. But the vendor didn't have Wesley. But they had this guy. He's a newer figure. And he was going for $26.99. And because I paid for cash, the guy knocked it down to $25, which is basically retail for a WWE Elite figure. So, you know, being that it was a newer figure, and usually when stores or vendors secondhand get newer figures in stock, they upcharge it a little bit. It just is what it is. But Nash Carter was basically retail, and he's like brand new. Like this action figure, I'm pretty sure is fresh out of the factory. So I picked him up. You know, and you know, even if I'm the kind of guy who doesn't want to buy an action figure of someone that's problematic for one reason or another, because I don't want to support him, you know, or the company that hires him, I purchased the action figure secondhand. So you know, if I wanted to make myself feel better about it, I could say, well, at least he doesn't get any of the money from my purchase today. But I don't even know what, you know, I don't know what he did. I might be misremembering things. Maybe it's not even this guy. You know, don't go crucifying him because I said something. I don't think I have that much pull anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I remember watching a couple matches of this guy and his partner, MSK, I think their tag team was. I'm not an expert on them or anything. But I remember seeing some of their matches and just, you know, really enjoying them and really enjoying the two of them as a team together and everything. And I got to open him on camera, because if we're not opening our action figures, what are we doing? That's a little bit of intentional shade to a buddy of mine that collects action figures as well, and he's the only person I know that collects them, you know, in as serious a fashion as I do, that takes the hobby as seriously as I do. And we get in playful banters sometimes, because he's a very strict mint on card collector, or you know, new in box collector. He hangs them on the wall in the box, and I rip them open the second I'm able to. So we have, you know, as passionate as we both are about the hobby, we have very different ways that we choose to enjoy it. And I think both are equally as valid. You know, whatever way you want to enjoy your action figures, I think you should do it, because ultimately that's what they're for, you know, is for your enjoyment. And if you derive enjoyment from keeping them in the box and hanging them on the wall, I think that's great. And if you derive enjoyment from ripping them out of the package with claws and fangs, and that's fine too, like I do, with, you know, with the ferocity of claws and fangs at least. I can't get his freaking hands out of here. One of my family members I was very close with growing up used to say about action figures and opening them, they used to say, what do they have them tied in so tight for? What do they think, they're gonna come alive and escape? I think they had seen Toy Story maybe one too many times. But yeah, I think the action figures are there to be enjoyed, and whatever your method of enjoying them is, it's fine. But you know, in a playful manner, it's fun to take digs at the other side. You know, if you're a new in box collector, it's fun to take digs at, you know, out of box collectors, and if you're an out of box collector, it's fun to take digs at you know what I'm trying to say. I lost track of the sentence, but you know what I'm trying to say. So here's Nash Carter out of his box, and I like this figure because he's so colorful, and his partner is very colorful too. The attire and the tattoos and the hair, you know, it's a very unique looking guy, and so is his partner. And a lot of action figures, wrestling action figures at least, it's a lot of, you know, black trunks, maybe red trim. You know, I remember there was one point where I grouped together all the wrestling action figures I had that were black and red, some combination of black, gray, red, maroon, red adjacent colors. And it was like almost half of my wrestling figures were some combination of black and red. So I like having figures like a Mustafa Ali, for example. I have his first figure. He's got yellow trunks. They really pop. Akira Tozawa, I've got his figure. He's got like baby blue trunks on. Who else? I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. Jack Gallagher was a wrestler who I know for a fact. I think he tried to aggressively assault someone, so I'm pretty sure he's like canceled for real, for whatever that's worth. But his action figure is very colorful, which I like. And I like this too. I like the white and the black and the lime green, and it looks like some purple on there, if I'm not making things up. Some purples and pinks and lime greens. And yeah, it says MSK on the side of the trunks there, which is their team name. And I'm going to go ahead and put his little jacket on him and see what that looks like. And I wish that they still had the partner, so I could have got both of them, Wes Lee as well. You know what maybe I'm imagining? Is that maybe whoever purchased Wes Lee saw both of the figures. I took the head off, that's normal. Saw both of the figures, and maybe they knew. They were like, oh, that guy, Nash Carter, I think he did something, so I'm not going to get his figure, but I'll get Wes Lee, because I don't think Wes Lee did anything. Maybe. I don't know that for sure. I don't know either of these people. But I think Nash Carter, this guy, I think publicly got caught with something or accused of something. So maybe they didn't buy his figure for that reason. But I got it. I did. Yeah, and here he is with his little outfit on. His little jacket. And there he is. There's Nash Carter, WWE Elite Series 94. Very nice figure. I'm going to put him with the rest as well. Yeah, so I am quite happy with my pickups today. Quite happy with my pickups today. I'm going to take a sip of water to build up some more suspense. And then I'm going to show you the little setup that I've made. It's not a proper setup, I just stood them all up together, but it looks cool. Get ready. Okay. So here we have my pickups for the day. Hold on, let me try to find a nice angle for you here. I think that's everyone. Maybe, no, I can't see Nash. Let me back up a little bit. There's the pickups for the day. From left to right or right to left. I don't know which way this is going to wind up being. But whatever way this side to this side is, that's where we're going. But we got Iron Patriot. We got Daredevil. Ultimate Beetle. Spider-Woman, classic Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. Big Man Ironmonger in the back. And then one half of MSK Nash Carter. You can see the rest of my desk is a bit of a mess. I'm still working on getting a display going properly. And you know, I only have limited shelf space, so I've got to pick and choose who gets that shelf space. And once I get it all set up, I'll do a proper, I'll give you a proper tour of my display, which I think you probably saw a little bit of just now. I've got some pretty cool things I added to it. I put some string lights, and I just like it a lot. So once I get that all squared away, oh, here's Green Goblin. I forgot he was right here. So I could compare him real quick to, wow, actually they're about the same height. I think Green Goblin looks a little taller on camera, but he's not. They're roughly about the same height. That's so cool. I don't think this was planned either. Excuse me, because Iron Patriot came out a long time ago. This Green Goblin at least is a much more recent figure. And that's great. That's so cool. I love little things like that, little consistencies like that, whether intentional or otherwise. It's just really cool. And I guess now that I have shown you everything, that I purchased at New York Comic Con 2022 on Sunday, October 8th or 9th or 10th. Whatever day today is, whatever the Sunday was, because that's the only day I went. I guess I could just talk a little bit about my experience there. I had a pretty good time. I haven't been to Comic-Con in quite some time. I haven't been to Comic-Con since I was maybe probably 10 or 11 years old. I think 2000... I couldn't tell you, but it's been quite a long time, at least 10 years. And it's kind of basically how I remember it, in terms of it being very packed, very crowded. You have to have an urgency about your walk, just because things are moving fast. Gridlock happens, foot traffic happens. And being a native New Yorker, I think I have a bit of an advantage in that department, as far as being able to kind of pick out spots and openings and foot traffic and weave in and out and to get where I want to go as quickly as possible. And weave around the people that are stopped to look at things, or weave around people that are stopped to chat or to take a photo. None of which, is necessarily a bad thing, because it's Comic-Con. That's what you come to do, is you come to look at things and you come to take pictures with cool people and cool outfits, which I did take a few. Maybe I'll post them up here. Maybe I'll do a picture-in-picture as I'm talking so you can see the pictures I took with a couple characters, or maybe I won't, I don't know. But yes, so, I'm not annoyed at it or anything, it is what it is, but I think being a New Yorker, and growing up here, I have the advantage of, like I said, being able to pick spots and find openings and foot traffic to weave around, to maximize my efficiency on my feet. So yeah, it's kind of how I remember it in that sense. There had to be hundreds of vendors. I might even want to say maybe 1,000 or more vendors, as far as tables and setups and stuff go. Little booths and little things that you could walk in, little setups, a lot. I mostly stuck to the toy ones because that's primarily what I'm interested in. There was some cool art ones though that I stopped to look at. There was one that was like stained glass. It was like the stained glass nerd, I think it was called. And it was basically stained glass, like you might see mini, like little picture size stained glasses that you might see in a Catholic church, except with like nerdy characters. Like there was one with Professor X, and there was some with some other characters I didn't recognize, things like that. That was real cool. A lot of artsy, like displate looking things. I don't think they were actually displates, but like a lot of displate looking art things. A lot of independent, or I guess independent, I don't really know, but or whatever it is, smaller scale comic book companies were there. I don't really remember any of them by name, but that was pretty cool to see as well. There was a Marvel giveaway corner, which was a bunch of people on a stage throwing out t-shirts and stuff to a whole crowd of people waving their hands, wanting to get some of the free merch, free swag, as they call it. As far as the vendors themselves go, and even the employees of the con, the security and things like that, people seemed real tired. I think, today being the last day of the con, they're in the home stretch, as far as they've been doing this for like 4 days straight at this point, and they are probably wiped. And it showed in a lot of the people there, people selling stuff and people cleaning the floors and selling food. People seemed tired, and even some of the con goers, even some of the patrons like myself, people just seemed a little, I don't think there was that, I'm thinking how to express, there wasn't that like first day excitement of, oh my god, it's Comic-Con and ooh ha, it was very kind of chill and mellow. There were many people, so it wasn't chill and mellow in that regard, but chill and mellow in regards of, everything was rather low-key, or as low-key as, a tremendous convention like this could be. I don't know what else really to comment on. people in costumes was real cool. I already kind of went over that. A lot of Marvel characters, you know, some Doctor Stranges, some Wanda Maximoffs, a couple Black Panthers, a couple Ms. Marvels. Actually, one Ms. Marvel, which was real cool to see. It was a little girl dressed up as Ms. Marvel. Some stuff I didn't recognize, costumes I didn't recognize. Actually, on the way out of the convention, you know, I was a couple blocks down at this point. Because when you first leave the convention, the first block or two is all convention goers, either coming or going. But I was out of that radius when I was leaving. I was probably about maybe 4 or 5 blocks down. And I saw a couple of men together, and they just looked incredible. They just looked wonderful. And I told them, I was like, wow, like, not to be weird or anything, but you just look amazing. You guys look so great, both of you. And they were like, yeah, man, we're something from Naruto. And I didn't know what they were, what the characters were, but it was something from Naruto, and it was like, oh. So there was a lot of stuff I didn't recognize. You know, there was one dude dressed as Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men movies, the Evan Peters Quicksilver, which is, if you don't know the movie, it just looks like a guy in clothes. You know, it's a silver jacket with a Pink Floyd shirt and pants. It just looks like a guy in clothes. So there's a good chance that there was a lot of costumes I missed like that, you know, just costumes that are just people in clothes that I didn't really recognize. A couple Michael Myerses, which was pretty cool. It was overall just a lot of fun. It was a good vibe. You know, people were there. People were as polite as possible with the foot traffic, and there's a lot of kind of, you know, brushing up against each other and stuff, because you got to pass people and you rub shoulders or, you know, things like that, or you accidentally knock into someone, or vice versa, someone knocks into you. But it was super chill and respectful as far as, excuse me, as far as, oh, sorry, dude, you know, if someone stepped on you or if you stepped on someone by accident, whatever the case might have been. It was overall just a good time. I don't think I have anything much more to say beyond that. So I'm going to take one more sip of water, and then I'm going to play us out. So stick around for the outro song. Oh, don't click out yet. I saw you. You know the video is ending, so you went to click out. Don't do it yet. I see you. It's going to be the best outro song I've ever done. You're going to want to stick around for it. Oh. Tilt you down a bit so you can see the guitar. I got a green screen, by the way. That's what this is. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it yet, but I have one, so keep an eye out for that in future Eglowitz Variety Show videos. Please like and comment and subscribe as well if you enjoyed today's video. I'm not quite exactly sure how the algorithm thing works. I'm familiar with what it is, but as far as specifics, you know, I don't know. But I do know that I hear a lot of YouTubers say that liking and commenting really helps. So if you feel so inclined to do that, then please do. In fact, I'll give you a prompt. I'll ask you what was the best convention or festival or concert or whatever event experience you've ever had. Be it a concert, like I said, or a festival, or a Comic-Con, or something entirely different. Whatever. Or tell me, I don't know, anything you want. Or comment on anything I said, or give me your geopolitical opinions. Whatever you feel like doing. Much like the Eglowitz Variety Show. Because that's all this is whatever we feel like doing at any given moment. What else should I say? I don't know. So I guess I'll sing. This has been the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, cause I still don't know. I just... No, the ending is different. The ending is different. Now I gotta go clean the saucepan I cooked in before, cause if I don't, it'll start to smell really